Today, less digital river, more lipstick on a pig for Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics Webinars post covering finance and property news. Well, the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies continue to whiplash in response to more news from the White House about the so-called Strategic Crypto Reserve. Trump had vowed to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve on the campaign trail, one of the many crypto-related promises that helped fuel a surge in prices up until the day of his inauguration. Trump's campaign pledge to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve was one of the many promises designed to appeal to an industry that has emerged as a source of significant political donations. Remember that former US President Joe Biden had led a crackdown on crypto, citing concerns about fraud. Trump's crypto-related executive order issued in January didn't mention any specific tokens and referred only to the possibility of a national digital asset stockpile, the potential creation and maintenance of which should be evaluated by a White House working group. The lack of an explicit mention of Bitcoin in the January executive order disappointed some of the largest digital tokens' most outspoken supporters, who had spent months anticipating a so-called Bitcoin Fort Knox. While the Securities and Exchange Commission dropped several cases and investigations into crypto companies in the early weeks of the Trump administration, little had been said about a strategic reserve since he took office. But then on February the 4th, David Sachs, the president's artificial intelligence and crypto czar, said that administration officials still needed to study the feasibility of the plan of the strategic reserve. Then, in a Truth Social post last Sunday, Trump said his January executive order on crypto directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve. And Trump said that Bitcoin and Ether would be included in the reserve alongside XRP, Sol, and ADA. The inclusion of XRP and ADA tokens in Trump's plans surprised many. Both tokens took huge rallies on Sunday, leading gains across most digital assets, and it helped those coins recover some of last month's steep declines. The tokens, Trump said, will be included in the reserve are all among the top 8 cryptocurrencies by market value. The only ones among the top 8 that weren't included were Tether and USDC, stablecoins that track the US dollar, and the Binance Exchange's token Binance Coin, known as BNB. Now, on March the 6th, President Donald Trump signed the long-awaited order creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve and an additional stockpile of other digital assets. The order was shared initially as a post on X by the White House crypto czar David Sachs, indicating that the government wouldn't use taxpayer money to fund a strategic reserve of the largest digital asset. He wrote, just a few moments ago, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. This means it will not cost taxpayers a dime. Now, it's estimated that the US government owns about 200,000 Bitcoins, but there has never been any complete audit. The EO directs a full accounting of the federal government's digital assets holdings. The US will not sell any Bitcoin deposited into the reserve. It will be kept as a store of value. The reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency, often called digital gold. Premature sales of Bitcoin have already cost US taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value. Now the federal government will have a strategy to maximize the value of its holdings. The Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that those strategies have no incremental costs on American taxpayers. And he went on to say, in addition, the executive order establishes a US digital asset stockpile consisting of digital assets and other Bitcoin forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings. The government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. The purpose of the stockpile is responsible stewardship of the government's digital assets under the Treasury Department. Promises made. Promises kept, he said. President Donald Trump promised to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. Those promises have been kept. This executive order underscores President Trump's commitment to making the US the crypto capital of the world. Now, the fact sheet from the White House says Bitcoin, the original cryptocurrency, is referred to as digital gold because of its scarcity and security, having never been hacked. With a fixed supply of 21 million coins, there is a strategic advantage to being among the first nations to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The United States currently holds a significant amount of Bitcoin, but does not maximize its strategic position as a unique store of value in the global financial system. Premature sales of Bitcoin have already cost US taxpayers over $17 billion. The executive order begins to resolve the current disjointed handling of cryptocurrencies seized through forfeiture by and scattered across various federal agencies. Currently, no clear policy exists for managing these assets, leading to a lack of accountability and inadequate exploration of options to centralize, secure, or maximize their value. Taking affirmative steps to centralize ownership, control, and management of those assets within the federal government will ensure proper oversight, accurate tracking, and a cohesive approach to managing the government's cryptocurrency holdings. This move harnesses the power of digital assets for national prosperity rather than letting them languish in limbo. It went on to say, delivering on pledge to make America the crypto capital of the world, President Trump is fulfilling his promise to position America as the global leader in cryptocurrency. President Trump promised to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, emphasizing the need to embrace digital assets to drive economic growth and technological leadership. In his first week of office, President Trump signed an executive order to promote United States leadership in digital assets such as cryptocurrency. President Trump has consistently advocated for a forward-thinking approach to crypto, stating, "I am very positive and open-minded to cryptocurrency companies and all things related to this new and burgeoning industry. A country must be a leader in the field." President Trump promised to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a digital asset stockpile. President Trump appointed a crypto czar and is hosting the first ever crypto summit at the White House. Just a few of the many ways this administration is demonstrating its strong commitment to this digital asset. As I said, the government holds about 200,000 Bitcoins seized over the past 15 years, and that's worth around $17.5 billion at today's prices, with Trump's orders also calling for an audit of the government's crypto holdings. The Department of Justice, who holds all of the government's seized Bitcoin, was seen selling the token intermittently on the open market in recent years. Now, to underscore the key point, the reserve would be capitalized with Bitcoin already owned by the federal government. Any further acquisitions would require budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that those strategies impose no incremental costs on American taxpayers, nor will the US sell Bitcoin deposited into the reserves, according to the order. Trump had authorized his Commerce and Treasury secretaries to explore budget-neutral purchases of Bitcoin, although it was not immediately clear what this would imply. The stipulations around the non-Bitcoin stockpile are even more stringent. According to the order, the government would not acquire additional crypto assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. And unlike the requirements not to sell any Bitcoin, the order explicitly noted that the Treasury may determine strategies for responsible stewardship, including potential sales from the stockpile. This, of course, was all a disappointment to many of those who'd taken positions ahead of the announcement on the assumption that the Treasury would purchase additional crypto holdings. With this latest development, those positions are being unwound. While the creation of the Bitcoin Specific Reserve fulfills a promise Trump made on the campaign trail, the details, frankly, fell short of many in the industries and their expectations. The significance of this executive order is mainly symbolic, as it marks the first time Bitcoin is formally recognized as a reserve asset of the United States government, said Andrew O'Neill, Managing Director of Digital Assets at S&P Global Ratings. Now, further details are expected when the president is due to host that first crypto summit at the White House on Friday, but it's unclear whether the planned reserve could face legal hurdles or if it might require an act of Congress. Sachs said the stockpile would serve as a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency, drawing comparisons to the Kentucky military base, where a significant proportion of US gold assets are stored, at least in theory. It's unclear how the new stockpile would benefit Americans, but Sachs said it will not cost taxpayers a dime. His implication is that the US government will not buy Bitcoin, led prices on the world's largest cryptocurrency to fall by around 5%. As a result, the global cryptocurrency market cap today was around $3 trillion US, according to CoinGecko. That's down 4.61% in the last 24 hours and a 12.2% change over the last year. As of today, the market cap of Bitcoin was $1.75 trillion, representing a Bitcoin dominance of around 58.24%. And meanwhile, stablecoins market cap is at $235 billion and has a 7.82% share of the total crypto market cap. Bitcoin fell 4.8% to around 88,296 and is now at 89,419. Remember that the price had dropped to around 84,000 shortly after Trump's crypto czar announced plans for the reserve. Broader crypto prices tracked declines in Bitcoin as Trump's order for a digital asset stockpile of altcoins also sparked little joy. World number 2 crypto Ether fell around 5.1% to as low as 2,174 and it was at last at 2,210. XRP was flat at around 2.5585. Cardano slid around 7% and was at last at 0.8852, while Solana fell 4.6% and was last at 145.588. Among the meme coins, Dogecoin fell 6.7% and was last at 0.203020, while the Trump coin shed 7.2% and was last at 1343. Finally, Coinbase dropped about 3.72% to $214.17, and most other large exchanges also fell. So to me, this looks more like lipstick on a pig than a big strategic shift. Of course, some countries maintain strategic reserves of national assets to diversify government holdings and a hedge against financial risk. The US, of course, keeps a petroleum reserve, and Canada has a maple syrup reserve. But this announcement today was not what the pro-crypto communities had been, frankly, banking on. As I say, more lipstick on a pig. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.